So what should I do with my gap year? I'm getting asked this question all the time, and there's so many different ways to answer it, so let me give you the top 3 ways I recommend that you think about this. First thing you should consider is that you can do pretty much anything with your gap year and make it meaningful. But that's the trick, is make it meaningful. That means whatever you do, you should be doing something on purpose. And again, I'm not using that word purpose lightly. You should have a reason for choosing to do whatever it is you're going to do in that year. Which brings me to the second point, which is there is not really a hierarchy of worst to best when it comes to planning your gap year. There's not something you'll do that's way more impressive or something that's way less impressive or something that's a red flag, unless you're not doing anything on purpose. So what you should do is think about everything you have done and think about if there's anything that you want to do before you commit to medical school. So for a lot of people, maybe you have a ton of clinical experience and research, but you haven't done any service work, or you've done a ton of service work, but you don't have any clinicals, yada, yada, yada. And so maybe you want to spend your gap year shoring up the thing you didn't have a chance to do when you were an undergraduate or in the past few years. This is probably the approach that most people take, so it's a bit difficult to give advice when I get asked that question, because if I don't know you, if I don't know what you've done, it's hard to say do this or do that, because it depends on what you've already done and what your goals are. All right, here's the third way to think about it. There are plenty of folks who just take a year off. I've seen people take a year to just play video games, spend time with family, connect with people they haven't connected with for a couple of years, or go travel the world, or whatever it is that they find fulfilling. And that's totally fine too. I've seen people do that and then get into medical school. There's no red flagginess to that. If you've done all of the things you feel like you need to do to build a strong application and you want to take a year pursuing some other aspect of being human, that's totally okay. Particularly if you're able to speak about all of the cool things you did or what the year off meant to you when you get asked about it at interview. And I'm not saying you have to do cool things, just do whatever is meaningful to you. Last thing I'll say is that sometimes a gap year isn't taken for enrichment, but it's taken out of necessity. If you're taking that year off to make money to support yourself, to support your journey into medical school, if you've got an illness, if your loved one needs taking care of, that's also totally fine. Life isn't such a thing as we're able to curate endlessly. And again, it's not a red flag, it's not a weakness. And if I'm being honest with you, I kind of hate the term gap year because it implies that if you take a break from assiduously preparing for medical school, you're somehow taking a gap from your life. And that's just kind of sad. You're taking a year to do something meaningful to you. That's how I would think about it. There's no wrong answer, and the right answer, like with most things, is to be thoughtful.